And let's now bring in Colin Robertson, former Canadian diplomat and vice president at the Canadian Global Affairs Institute. Colin, good morning and thank you for your time.
Good to be with you, Akshay.
So Ottawa, as we know, rolled out the red carpet quite literally, and there was a lot of anticipation before this visit. How would you summarize this historic visit of President Biden?
I think this is as good as it gets. You could tell from the tone of both the speeches and the looking at the two leaders, they get along, and the president, I think, went out of his way to make it clear that, as he said in his toast, we're friends, but we're also family. And there was big progress right across the board on the big baskets, whether we're talking border or security or trade or climate or energy and in the environment. You look at that communique, that's a pretty impressive piece of work that really shows what's been happening over the last couple of years. Last year, when the roadmap came out, there was just kind of a terse summary that we're still working on this thing. Mm-hmm. But the roadmap, which covers much of those baskets, they've done an awful lot of work. And as I say, accomplished, as you've just reported, big things when it comes to some of the issues that matter to Canada, particularly around people across the border.
Right. And like you also pointed out, some very important issues were indeed discussed in this just about a day. But in the light of, geopolitical equations changing, issues of global security, how do you think this visit has strengthened the North American continent further?
Well, I think, again, in his final remarks, the president talked about possibilities for Canada and the United States are limitless. I think that's true. But he also talked to the importance of capacity. And I do think that we have underinvested in our defense, in our development, and our diplomacy. The world has changed, as both President and Prime Minister pointed out. So I think you're going to have to see major investments by Canada if we want to play in the world. As the Prime Minister said when he first came to power, Canada's back. Canada's not back. We can't back because we don't have the capacities. This government would like to do peacekeeping. Well, as the Prime Minister said, we really don't have the capacity to go into Haiti. And I think there's other issues there as well. Is foreign intervention going to help? But we really are going to have to put more money, say, into defense, into diplomacy, and into development.
Yeah, a lot was spoken about modernization of NORAD as well. You touched on two very important points which I wanted to discuss. One of them, of course, is interference. Just this week, we saw visuals of Putin and Xi meeting in Moscow, and a few days after, we see Biden and Trudeau meeting as well. Both nations, Canada and U.S., are also dealing with these issues of interference. How do you think that issue was addressed in this meeting?
Well, it was pretty clear. Again, in the press conference, the president said, this is something we both got to deal with. The Americans are no strangers to foreign interference. We saw this in the 2016 election when all of the national security agencies were united to say, yes, the Russians have intervened. The Chinese has interfered and the Iranians have interfered as well. We know this. And I think, obviously, the focus with the events of the last couple of weeks in Canada and the Liberal MP who's stepping away from the caucus, just focused. And I think that there will be the inquiry that David Johnson's going to conduct, I think. But again, we're conscious of it now, and that's really important. And the Americans are conscious of it well. And clearly, within the Five Eyes countries and within NATO, we're working on this because democracies are threatened by foreign interference. That they do really want to bring down democracies. It's clear from both what China and Russia say. They think theirs is a better system.
Yeah, and we know that how pressure is mounting on this government now to have a public inquiry into the matter of interference. But lastly, I want to check with you on the issue of Haiti as well. The president was specifically asked if he was disappointed on Canada's role so far, and he said no. What, in your view, that means going forward for Canada?
Well, I think the president said no in part because he's lived through the experience of Iraq 20 years on and Afghanistan. Foreign intervention is... You go in as liberators, but you wind up as occupiers. And this is certainly the president lived through, particularly with Afghanistan and also to agree with Iraq. So I think he has a certain sympathy when the prime minister says, first, we don't have the capacity, but secondly, we're not convinced this is the right way to do it. Let the Haitians come together. Let's strengthen their own institutions. Let the Haitian people, particularly the police, government, that's where we should be putting our money. And that's what the prime minister did. He put $100 million into policing and things, building the institutions which create a society. But right now it's very tough, and I think the Prime Minister is right. I'm not sure going in with a military force would make a difference.
Right, Colin.
And we don't have that capacity.
We don't have that capacity. Colin, it's always great to have you on the show, and thank you so much for your insights. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Akshay.